Here, and this is all you. We hear Jesus is king, we hear this, but that's all you. Then there's sometimes you just want to say, man, not it, but you just want to say, man, this is what I'm feeling right now. Are you in that space where you're comfortable enough to say, this is where I am right now? I'm still a man of God. Jesus still is king, but this is vultures right now. This is where I am.
It is, but I have my issues with Jesus. There's a lot of stuff I went through that I prayed and I didn't see Jesus show up. So I had to put my experience in this world, my experience with my children, my experience with other people, my experience with my account, my experience with my brand, and my experience with the level of music that I was dealing with in my own hands. Like a lot of times I just feel like in our society, in America, people, Christians, we depend on Jesus so much that we won't put the word in ourselves. And the main thing that really that I don't rock with is just always, I'm gonna pray for you. And it's just, you can actually physically do something yourself too, more than just pray. And we're so in this mentality, that's all that needs to happen, but we ain't praying our way out of prison. We ain't praying our way out of the abortion clinics. We ain't praying our way to get our land back that was always ours after gentrification, after the Harlem Renaissance and Black Wall Street was burned to the ground. Them prayers ain't working. A lot of times when you go into the whole Jesus, devout, Paul level, fell off a donkey level religious, you have thoughts in your mind and that you hiding them from yourself. And then you sitting there and the whole choir is, y'all singing about that. Then they're stealing from you from the church. And it's like, man, like, I swear it's just, you can only see what's immediately in front of you.
How did you not so-called disappear? Because that's a hell of a fight.
Because I'm God. And anyone that disagree, I'm the God of me, and you can't tell me who I am. I can't tell y'all. I could tell y'all. It's y'all job to listen. I'm the God of me. I don't know if I'm in heaven already. And I got #1 from that. Probably I might be on like a 4th dimension version of the lifestyle. I don't know. Like I said, I must have died in this accident. It must be heaven at the end of the day. It's like, why should you fear? That's another thing I don't like in Christianity, the fear of God. If God is love, why should you fear him? Because you place one fear, you get another fear, you get another fear. What do you have at that point? You're easily controllable. You're easily sellable. You're easily contracted because you have this fear on you. Like, everybody gonna die eventually, but I'm gonna live my entire life with zero fear of a contract, fear of perception, fear of getting my black card denied, fear. I'm not gonna jump in front of a train.
Right.
So the clip that's going around did not include the rest of that. Yeah. So it's like that first clip was bad enough, but then when you keep listening, I'm like,
I listened last night too.
What are you talking about, bro? All right, so Kanye West. Can we just say he's not a Christian? He's saying he is. But that everything he said does not match.
Wait a minute, did he just said he is?
I didn't take that part, but he says, you know, us Christians do such and such. So he's still referring to himself as a Christian somehow. I don't know how that calculus goes in his head, but there's so many things. Like, how do you respond to that? What are your thoughts, Ryan?
So the first thing is, you know, I think first of all, I think he's messed up a lot of people's walks. I think that, you know, he's such an influential person and so much of a boisterous person that he's messed up a lot of people's walks because there is a commercial side of Christianity, and that's the side that we try to stay away from. I look at myself and I'm like, man, I got to stay off social media because when I see things that Christians are doing to each other, it makes me mad at the faith. But it shouldn't affect how I am in my prayer walk and in my prayer closet with God. So when I feel those things happening, when I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pull back and just kind of like be to myself and be quiet and whatever, I feel like those are things that lead me astray. So social media and influencers like Kanye are people that are things that lead you away from your true your true relationship with Christ. And so that's the thing that's dangerous to me. What he just said was really, really dangerous. The second thing I took from that is that the prayers that he's praying for, when he's saying somebody do something, I understood where he was coming from a little piece, right? The night my father passed away, somebody told me like, oh, I heard from the Lord, I prayed, and your dad is coming home. He's going to be, here for your first child to be born. Like, and he died the same night. Like, you didn't hear God tell you that. So I get his frustration with Christians that tell you things that you want to hear versus what God actually said. And so I was like, when I first saw the clip, I was thinking, okay, I understand where you are. We all have had, losses in our lives, or we've grieved in a certain way where we felt like we prayed and God didn't answer that prayer. I was reading a devotional the other day where it was like, God answers your prayer as soon as you pray it. You just need time for it to manifest.
Or
and
the
it's
answer
in his
is
right
no.
time.
Or the answer is
or the
no.
answer is no, right. And so, but it's still the answer, right? The answer is yes or no. So that's what I took from that. But Kanye, man, I was really on board. Y'all know how I am. I even follow an Instagram and a Twitter site it's called Christleets or something like that, where all these athletes that believe in Jesus Christ, they repost all the things that they say. And so when I see celebrities and people coming into the fold and they look like they're doing the right thing and their hearts are really changed, I get excited about it. I was excited about Kanye. I feel bad about it now because I'm like, man, he messed us all up.
Like a sucker.
But the prayers are still there. Still pray for him because he needs that.
It's really serious because I think a lot of people fall away from God because of something similar. So basically what he's saying is, I prayed to Jesus, and I assume he's talking about his family when his family was falling apart.
Right, he was.
I prayed to Jesus, and then the whole thing with all the Jewish stuff, right?
Yeah.
I prayed to Jesus, and he didn't come through for me. So his conclusion from that experience is, I just need to do it myself.
Yeah.
And then that led to him, he already kind of had this in his head, but that means I'm the God of my life. No, you are not. You are literally not the God of your life. God is the God of your life.
Yeah.
And I think his confusion with all of that makes him think that just because he didn't get the answer he wanted from Jesus, I think a lot of us feel this way, just because you don't get the answer you want from Jesus means that he's not there, he's not listening, or it's not important, or you just got to do it your own way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are struggling with that conclusion. I prayed for my dad to live. He didn't live. I know you did the same. He didn't live. So when something like that happens where you lose something that you're like, God would never do that to me.
Yeah.
And then it happens, you're like, what is this then?
But I would say this, from a biblical standpoint, that happens to a lot of people where God doesn't show up when you want him to show up. And I think at the same time, it's a hard pill to swallow. But I would say this about Kanye though. He said he had to do it himself. Did you really do it yourself with your family? Like, did you just give up on your family? Did you change? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like the prayers, like, instead of like, Jesus saved my family, sometimes what I realize about with marriage is like, Jesus changed me. So my wife can see a better version of me, so we can be a better family. And sometimes it was looking like, from quote unquote the media's perspective of him in that show, like you talked about last week, it didn't make him look good. It made him look like he was like an evil, crazed, delusional person over his family. And I wish that, because for your children's sake, you want your family to stay, and I'm sure from his perspective, he wanted his family to stay together because of that. But I think sometimes we put stuff on God like God is like somebody said, I think my wife said it, as a genie, and God is not a genie. He doesn't work on your commands. And shout out to D1 because he did a video about it too that was really good. He said we don't serve. We serve God. God doesn't serve us. Yeah. And I think so many people, because of bad theology, bad people who are around you who don't know, like they may not read the Bible. They just know cliches of Christianity, or they just know some popular Christian pastor is feeding you this stuff,
prosperity gospel,
and not discipling you and pouring into you and say, bro, if this doesn't work out, God is still God.
I think one of the hardest things to do even for us as believers is just to be still sometimes. I think when you make a prayer, like you said, we've all experienced loss and tragedy and things of that nature. We prayed against it and it still happened. Or we ask God for an answer to a question. If you don't get that immediate answer or you don't get the results you're looking for, like sometimes you got to just be still and know that he's God. Sometimes you got to keep on doing the last thing he told you until you get that instruction. And I think it's hard for us to be still. That's why you see so many believers pray for something, and before God even get a chance to answer the prayer, they go do what they want to do anyway. You pretty much pray for no reason because you already had in your mind what you wanted to do, because we don't like to give control. That's what it is. And Kanye is a control freak. He's in the studio. He likes to build songs from beginning to end, production. He got this, so everything in his life, he's like the puppet master. So when you come to Christ, it's a completely different concept. You're no longer in control. And I think when you have a large ego and people around you are yes men because you're pretty much financing their well-being and things of that nature, even when you come to the church, you may have a pastor who might not handle a Kanye the same way he might handle one of us because he's a high-profile celebrity. So it's like, okay, let me, know what I'm saying, be a certain kind of way, to the point where now you're neglecting to give him that discipleship. You're not giving him that training, so he don't understand one of the principal things of Christianity is being still. Like those who wait on the Lord, not those who try to be the Lord, not those who try to rush the Lord. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. And he didn't want to wait.
Well, here's the thing, Kanye. Jesus didn't even get an answer to a prayer that he wanted.
Facts.
Jesus himself was crying, begging his Father, please, if there's any other way, please don't let me have to do this. I don't. This is hard for me.
Facts.
But the difference is, he said, "But your will, not mine. Your will, not mine. Your will, not mine." That's the lesson. Even Jesus, the Father said no. The answer was no. You got to go
through this. Facts.
And I think I think a lot of people need to understand that he's comparing himself to Jesus. Even Jesus didn't get his prayers in. So you have a problem with him when he had to endure the same thing?
We got to be taught that, though.
Wow.
You got to be taught that. And when the prosperity of all, when you got to think the people that he probably was around, I don't want to just put it on people, but they're probably the people like, hey, man, you came to God. Hey, you finna have a much better life now. You probably didn't get a chance to get to the denying yourself. They probably didn't get a chance to, hey, you got to be patient. Hey, you don't get everything you want. Hey, God is not a genie in the sky where you just say whatever you want. He out there doing the choirs and all that kind of stuff. We thinking like, hey, I've done my good deed, so God should give me what I want. So now it's like, I done did all this stuff and you didn't give me what I want. Now I'm disappointed. Now I'm confused. Now I'm hurt. Now I'm mad.
And think about,
now I'm God.
Think about anybody in Kanye's position that thinks you can throw money at something and make it go away, right? And now he's got more money than, well, he's got more money than he needs to even live off of. And so now you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I've conquered pretty much the world of hip hop, world of finances. I've conquered these things, right? Very few people have done what he's done. And now you're sitting there and you're like, okay, usually everybody you survey would say money will fix a lot of my problems, right? Money will be an answer to my prayer. And he's sitting there saying like, no, money's not the answer to my prayer. So where do I go from here? You have to sit still. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've been challenged with this. My sister's challenged me. She's like, hey, you know what? You're going through a storm right now. You need to just sit still. Take 3 days and don't do anything. Close your laptop. Get off your phone. I can't do it. I have a wife, I have children, the school might call. Like I have all these different things in my mind that I've conjured up to say I can't do it. Somebody like Kanye could actually fall back and do that. He could actually fall back and do that. And so the fact that he's not doing it is disobedience, and he's frustrated.
Do you think about like in scripture when Moses had to go to the mountain to get the commandments? God called him to the mountain. He was up there for like 6 days. Now, God could have gave him the commandments right then. I think the Israelites down there wilding. So they building a golden calf. They're bigger, they're playing, they're hungry, they're fussing. But God made them sit up there 6 days despite everything that was going on. Because if you don't spend time in God's presence, you're not prepared for what's going on down the mountain anyway. So even with him, if you don't spend time in God's presence, if you don't know how to wait and be still and understand that everything I see going on, God sees it too, that doesn't mean I don't need to be still and trust God. He said in that statement, he said, I can't ignore what I see before me. It's not about ignoring what you see before you. You got to understand that God is so powerful that whatever you see before you doesn't matter when he steps in. So if I give full control to him in this situation and have faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, I can trust that more than what I see. Yeah. But that comes with discipleship.
But that's hard. I would say the hard part about all this is the control part. Because, I mean, of course, we've known people that was part of our team that was like, yo, we work with Kanye doing this part of this rollout, and he was just like, I want this. Give me this. Yeah. And if we can't give you this, I ain't messing with y'all. And he talking about the people she was working with. So I think at the end of the day, it's just one of those things, man. That's why I always said it's hard for celebrities to become Christians unless they die to themselves.
Yeah, really. Oh, for sure.
Because if you don't die to yourself, it's hard for us as people who just normal, everyday, walking around people to die to your own selfish ambition, selfishness, and your own way to doing things. But imagine somebody that got things that could be handed to them 24/7 when they just say, hey, I want, and it's right there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's
so
funny.
Without discipleship and without real biblical Christianity, because I'm realizing I'm turning the pages on a lot of different things in American theology, Christianity versus biblical Christianity that people get. You can change somebody's life when you get the true Bible versus somebody's version of what they think is Christianity. And that's what we see in time and time again. But it's a reason why these celebrities go to these celebrity pastors or believe in these type of doctrines, because it doesn't make you die to self.
Facts.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, man. Well, I don't know, man. It's sad to see what he really thinks. I think in America, somebody who believes what he believes can still say they're called a Christian because there's so much confusion. Yeah. But that's not Christianity. You can't call yourself a God in the sense that he's saying. You can't say, I mean, you could say you have an issue with God, but then work it out. You don't just say, I got a problem with Jesus, so I'm going to just do it myself. Yeah. That's not, that's not.
Y'all think he just hurt, though? You think he just hurt and confused, or you think he just unturned completely?
Real quick, I think he's kind of hurt and confused. I think the thing, though, is one of the things that is dangerous that what he's saying is that I don't need God, but I can do it too. Yeah. I think that's the scary part. But then also I think for some Christians one thing I kind of agree with is that when you just pray and you don't do nothing, then that's a problem. Because you, as a believer, you got to walk out in faith. You got to step out in
but you're doing something shouldn't be a result of your lack of faith. Yeah. Because that's what he's basically saying. Like, oh, God won't do it for me, I'll do it for me. Yeah. That's not the motivation.
I think it's pride and lack of understanding. Yeah. At the end of the day, like Kanye has a lot of pride and he lacks a lot of understanding. Like y'all said, he's been pushed into a position because of his status to where nobody is going to challenge that or check that.
And people have made him feel like a god. Yeah. People have made him their god. Right. Yeah. And so when you're a non-believer and you're thinking like, oh, you know, hip hop is a god to me and money is a god to me, and he's got both. Yeah. He must be the pinnacle of what I need to be getting to.
Yeah.
You know?
He basically just went back to Yeezus. Yeah. Like if you heard that album, he basically went right back to the Yeezus, my beautiful dark twisted fantasy vibe of what it. And honestly, when I listen to Vulture, it's almost on that wavelength anyway.
I think he needed meds, bro. I think he bipolar. I think he needs his medication, and I think he needs some real counseling. All of which take humility. Yeah. Which he has none of.
But he wasn't manic in this video. He's saying what he actually believes.
Yeah, he was calm in this video.
This is what he believes. This is not like he's off. Like, I've seen him off and I've seen him on. Yeah. He's speaking plainly. This is what he believes in his heart.
This was the most calm interview I've seen him do. That when he wasn't like all over the place. Yeah. I mean, he did talk much, and Ty Dolla $ign didn't say much, but at the same time, I guess Big Boy was like, of course, I'm interviewing Kanye and what's her name, but yeah, this was the most calm I've seen him, and he was talking. He wasn't like, oh, he off. You know what I'm saying?
I think too. Nah, I'm not going to disagree with none of y'all saying like he was super calm, but just from my experience with bipolar people, you can be calm as a mug and still be thrown. Oh, really? Like he could have been calm because of the ambiance in the room. It was
Black.
All this
which he for sure designed himself.
Yeah, he did. He said it before.
Room, low lighting. He would have looked crazy in there just yelling like, so you're going to be calm. Yeah. But psychologically, you still could be off the rails.
So the atmosphere of the room changed his temperature. Yeah,
I think so.
All right, so Crispy put up a poll to our live audience, and he said, do you think Kanye is a Christian? So far, it's not over yet, but so far 8% said yes. 23% says he thinks he is, but no. 21% is he honestly doesn't know. And 49% says he's confused, backsliding, or hurt. So it seems like half of you guys believe he may still be a Christian, but is in a backslidden state. Let's pray so, because it don't sound like it to me. Let's pray so. That's the best case scenario.
Right.
Because that means there's still hope that this isn't a situation where seed planted on bad soil and he's just turned reprobate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So I hope that's not it. All right. Let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? I hope you liked that video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Trackstarz Universe. In the meantime, continue to watch our channel by clicking on this next video right now.